Hey, this is JR Hallworth from Renegade Soccer Training, and I just want to share a little bit with you about kind of what has happened over the past 2 years since we've been working with Oscar Garcia. And the reason why is because I can promise you my life has completely changed. My life has completely changed, and I can say that just looking at you straight in the face. And I can promise you that your life also can completely change if you're coming forth with the kind of energy and passion, because Oscar Garcia literally has the expertise to take you from an idea up through a real business, and now we are going to, on the stage, to dominate our market. So if you just give me a couple of seconds, I kind of like to tell you a little bit about this guy, because he has been an integral part of our success at Renegade Soccer Training. We couldn't do what we do without him bringing forth our message, and then our programs, which in our opinion they're the absolute best, in our customers' opinions they're the absolute best. But it doesn't matter what you have unless you can actually convince somebody to trust you and jump in and take advantage of whatever you're creating. And that's what Oscar does, is he helps us communicate our heart to our customers, build that trust, and then once they get in, they see amazing results, and it's life-changing for them. And for us, that's the fulfillment. Yeah, we do really, really well. We did really well last year. We're gonna do 5 times as well this year, I'm sure. But the big thing is for me, it's changed my life because I have freedom. I do get up and I work my business all the time. I live my business. I love my business. It's just kind of the entrepreneur heart. But for me, it's 15,000 kids log in and they're getting better, and we've got like 4,000 testimonials. It is literally crazy. It's crazy how much we're able to help so many kids, as opposed to being a soccer coach with 18 players on your roster and maybe coaching 2 teams. Very, very limited. We're able to do a lot and completely change kids' lives. So when we first started out, I knew of Oscar, and I knew he was a smart guy, right? So he went to the University of South Florida, and I was there, and I was an instructor there, and he had won the 25 under 25 award there, and that means you are in the top 25 students that are under 25 years old in the entire College of Business, which is 4,500 undergraduate students, right? So I know his worth, okay? And he was an MIS, so a little bit of technology, information system, stuff like that, and marketing. So I know he has the background, right? So he has the background, but not the specific skills, because I can promise you what college is not gonna do is teach you the specific skills to get this done. Absolutely not even close, right? So I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I thought about it, and I knew who he was. He had worked for me before. He was a graduate assistant. I knew he was a hard worker, but I wasn't really sure if he was ready to make that transformation and that growth. But what I also knew was he was a leader, right? So, and he was a proven leader. So he was a leader of a business fraternity at the stage that they were a better business fraternity than at any point in time in their history, right? And he was super well respected around everyone around him. And so I got to know him, and I was like, oh yeah, your parents are hard workers. They struggled, they persevered. Your dad's been an entrepreneur back and forth, so you understand what it means. And then the other thing I was looking for is kind of a curiosity. Because I can promise you, if you're an entrepreneur, unless you have a lot of money put away and you can just outsource everything, you're gonna have to have some curiosity about this, right? Because even working with Oscar, he's gonna make it super, super simple, but you're gonna get so much information, because every single time he talks, he literally is dropping pearls of wisdom, right? And it's just because he has totally immersed himself into all of our systems, all of our programming, all of our education, and that was kind of how we sat down. So we kind of sat down, and he said, yeah, I would love to do this. And I saw that curiosity, and that was the final piece that pushed it over the top. I knew he was a leader. I knew he was a hard worker, award-winning, stand out among 4,500 other students. And so that made him a little bit different than most millennials, because he's a young guy, right? So I'm like, okay, I like this. And then it's that curiosity, and it's that need to just continually learn and improve. And I like that. So that strikes a chord with me, because that's kind of, as a renegade, he's a renegade from the millennials, and as a renegade, that's kind of what we espouse. It's that extra bit, that extra last rep, that extra little bit at practice where you push a little bit hard. So for me, that sold me right there. So the big things I've enjoyed is Oscar understands that this is not an easy process. It's not an easy process for anybody. right? That's not an easy process for him either, because he went from 0 to like 100 miles an hour very quickly. And that's something that I can never take away and from him, is just his ability to not only take in information from the leading experts. We went to literally the leading experts when we started, and consume that material. But what's more importantly is, okay, now I've learned a lot of stuff, but his integration of that into our business so we could see better and better results, stunning, absolutely stunning. Like, he gets it, he understands it. At any point in time when he's learning something, how can I integrate this in for my clients? And for us, that made an absolute huge impact. So the other thing I really like about him is that he's self-directed, right? So I've got a saying is that if I have to manage you, I'm gonna just get rid of you, right? So I need people around me like me that I can inspire. I set down a vision, and we set down, here's what the outcome should look like. But if I've got to sit there and hold your hand all the time, you can't do that as an entrepreneur. You just absolutely can't do that. So that was huge, because Oscar is extraordinarily self-directed. So I just don't have to hold his hand. He gets it and he understands that. And I think it's because he's a leader also. You know, I'm a leader and he's a proven leader. So, you know, and the cool thing is he also understands we're not going to butt heads. Trust me, there's times when we're like, I want to do this and he wants to do something else and stuff like that. And, you know, those are things that he's awesome at, saying, look, this is why, justifies, I justify, we make a decision, we go with it, okay? Sometimes he's right, sometimes I'm right, but it's really a cool collaborative situation, because trust me, I've got a very strong ego, very strong personality, and he understands that completely. And as a proven leader among his peers and an extraordinarily good, you know, social media marketing person, you know, he is able to work with somebody like me, and that's not easy. I'm not gonna lie to you, that is not easy. So I absolutely love that. So you're like, okay, all that's great, buddy, but what are the results? So we literally went from an idea to a business, and now we're legitimately a business, and we're at that stage now. And this is one of the big things that Oscar brings forth, is the expertise. So if you're just starting out and you got an idea and stuff, he knows exactly what you need to do to get the next stage of business, right? And then when you launch and you're starting to get your funnels are working, things like that, he knows exactly what you need to concentrate on, an entrepreneur. So you're not only getting a social media marketing expert, but you're getting somebody who's essentially a business consultant at the same time, because he's been through it. So, you know, we have our offer, we have our funnels all worked out, we have, and they can still be better, and we test them all the time, and we have our traffic source. And Oscar handles that whole process with it, and we work through it, and we tweak it and everything else. So we've got a legitimate business. And when I say legitimate business, last year in 2017, we did like $665,000 in revenue on about $215,000 in Facebook ads. And so that's over a 200% ROI. You know, and so, and it's me, and I, you know, hire Oscar and I hire my team, and so it's huge. It's huge. And even though, yes, I was working on campus, I was very successful running a program. We ran the best program on campus at USF as far as I and my students are concerned. But the kind of freedom that comes with that level of financial success is something that it can't be overemphasized, right? Now, I'm the kind of guy that I just literally dump all that back into training and stuff like that. Not all of it, but hey, you know what? If we want to go do some traveling and we want to do some marketing based on that traveling, we have that free cash flow to do that. If some new guy comes out and he's guys understands about messenger bots or this or that, and they've got some expensive training and we talk about it, we can afford to do that, right? We can afford to go on vacations. We can afford to... How real is this, right? The rooster wants to get in. We can afford to do those things. So my life has completely changed. So the coolest thing is the transformation that has taken place from working with Oscar, right? So we went from an idea, and I had an idea for a video that I thought could really help change the way that kids are training in the United States to develop as soccer players. And so we go from an idea to an actual business to now we're literally looking for this year to just dominate our market, completely dominate our market. And there's no reason why we can't. So when you say, oh, okay, what's a legitimate business? You're sitting there this whole time and you're like, okay, I want some numbers, right? So we go from essentially just launching our core product, and this last year we did $665,000 in revenue, okay? And that's on $215,000 in Facebook ads. So it's over a 200% ROI. And so that transformation is awesome because your free cash flow is amazing with depending on what you're doing online. And working with somebody like Oscar improves that, right? Because your ROI is stronger. The better person you work with, the more you're able to articulate your message, get great targeting. He does all of that stuff, okay? So that is what really, really helps because it produces a lot of free cash flow. And so all the worries of a brand new business, we don't really have that many worries, okay? It's just not that big of a deal for us. So the other thing, the transformation in your lifestyle. So now let's say we want to travel, we want to go on vacation, and we want to do some filming, and it wouldn't be cool to do some renegade soccer training stuff in the mountains. We've got the cash flow to do that. The more important thing is, okay, well, what if some new expert comes out with some kind of training or something like that, and you look at it and you're just scratching your head, and in the past, there's no way that you could possibly invest in that level of training, that level of self-improvement. Not a problem. It's literally not a problem. Okay, so in this year, travel, changing my lifestyle completely focusing on fixing myself, making sure my relationships are great. And yes, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of long hours. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about having the ability and the freedom to do those things. Because once Oscar gets that initial core offer set up and you figure it out, right? And he's got your funnel built out and you've got all your upsells and downsells. He walks you through that whole process, right? And then he knows how to do the traffic perfectly. So he's getting in front of people that want to see it. At that point in time, it's just basically a funnel, right? Oscar is that funnel and he turns it on. And so every single day, you're gonna have a certain amount of ad spend and you're gonna have a certain amount of revenue coming in. And it doesn't matter if you go to the beach that day. Now, when you go to the beach, think about your emails, things like that. I mean, obviously you have to be a responsible owner, but Oscar makes that all completely possible. So that way, instead of just worrying about the day-to-day nonsense, right? Oh, how am I gonna pay the bills? How am I gonna pay the bills? You can start focusing on strategic things, right? Very strategic things. So that was absolutely huge, right? The other thing is like, so for long-term, for the long-term prospect of the business, we went from 20,000 emails to 80,000 emails, right? And so if you listen to guys that are experts like, you know, the Ryan Lee, the Russell Brunson, the guys like that are all out there, they're just like, for every single email, if you're creating products and you're delivering value and you're creating a good product that's going to change people's lives, there's no reason why every single month you can't get $1 or more from your email list by creating something that's going to help improve their lives. Not pushing junk on them, obviously, but create something that is life-changing for them. It's going to make things better, create memories, and so 80,000 emails, right? Crazy. And so no matter what happens, those emails exist with Renegade Soccer Training. I have 80,000 people that have said, I'm very interested in getting better at soccer. It's a game changer, right? And it provides quite a bit of safety. So the ability to build up that email list is absolutely, in terms of long-term ability to have a business, provide value for customers, and provide revenue, that's literally maybe the biggest part. You know, obviously the 200% ROI, the $665,000 in revenue, amazing, but I've got 80,000 people who have said, I'm very interested in what you're doing. And, you know, again, for the transformation piece, we had 0 kids that are getting better at soccer. And now we've got 15,000 kids that are getting better at soccer. And for us, that's huge. It's the testimonials that come pouring in and we share them, and, you know, it chokes you up. It really chokes you up because you're talking about kids that have spent many hours and tons of money and, you know, weren't seeing results. And then they take our 30-day program and they see more results than they've gotten in the past year. And they talk about it and they're like, wow, the amount of confidence, the amount of, you know, smiles and the level of engagement, team leadership, things like that, you know, my son or daughter has looked upon now. Man, that's impressive. That's really impressive. But none of that gets to happen unless you can convince them to trust you and get into one of your programs or buy one of your products or whatever it is. You know, I have no idea your niche, and that is literally what Oscar is just great at. You know, he's phenomenal at it. So no, it's been a great ride. And trust me, you know, if you're serious about it, and this is kind of who Oscar's for, right? Because he gets plenty of people. He's got a huge heart, right? Super smart guy, huge heart. And so, he'll just be talking to people all the time. He networks all the time, stuff like that. And he's got tons of people that are like kicking the tire type of people. If that's kind of you, I don't think he's for you. Maybe hire him for a coaching call or something like that, just to see if it's even possible for you. Because being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. Everybody likes the safety of, hey, you know what, I'm going to drive 45 minutes in the morning. I'm going to punch the clock. I'm going to have way too much to do. I'm going to leave. I'm going to make, $50, $60, $70,000 a year. But guess what? It's safe. And my 8-hour shift somehow always adds up to 10 or 11 hours away from my kids. I can't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore. So if you want to sit down and you're kind of kicking the tires, I would sit down and have a phone call with Oscar, right? And that might make sense. But I really wouldn't call unless you're really sick of it, right? Unless you're just like, I can do so much more, and I have an idea that I want to follow through, or I have an idea that I need to research a little bit. He can do that for you, see what it is, see if it's viable. And the other side of it is, if you're already a business owner, and you're having some success, or you don't know about the social media marketing side, which literally fits into any model. Any business can improve from social media marketing. But if you're a business owner and you're ready to literally level up, Oscar, he's OMG marketing, but it's not that. He's a business consultant. He understands every single step of the way to sit down what you need to do as an owner, or what your team needs to do to get to that next level. How do we get to how do we even launch and get to where I can leave my job? How do I get to 6 figures? How do I consistently? And our next goal is, how do I get to 6 figures a month? Right? And that's our goal. And what's holding us back is systems. So we're sitting down literally this week with Oscar, and let's look at those systems and let's get everything in so we're much, much more powerful. Man, he's an expert at this stuff. It's awesome. We've unleashed a monster, and he's just awesome at it. So, if you're literally on the fence, or you're like, I don't know, or whatever, and that's a big investment to work with somebody like Oscar, which it's really not. I mean, it's our biggest ROI investment is not Facebook ads. It's Oscar, right? I've got Oscar, and I've got my talent, Cody. And those are my 2 biggest ROIs by far in my business, not even close. So it's not spending money, it's investing money. And trust me, if you've got a tangible offer, he'll figure it out. He'll absolutely figure it out for you. So those are the kind of people that need to work with Oscar. I'm serious. I've got an idea. Maybe kick the tires. He can help you kick the tires, but that's kind of a one-off type of thing. And then you decide if you're serious. But if you're serious at whatever stage of business you are, and I mean, even if you're already 2 commas, 7 figures, he's going to take you to that next level. Because some of the stuff that he does is just, it's unbelievable. Right? Creates this, every time somebody's on Facebook, they see you, and all kinds of offers and all kinds of things that are going to help them get better. And so they understand your story, they understand your message. That's exactly what he's great at. He's amazing at it, right? And along the way, he's kind of holding your hand and saying, hey, if you want to go to the next level, this is exactly what you have to do. Let's put a plan in place. So for me, it's been a huge win. It's absolutely been a huge win. And moving forward, I can't see working with anybody else, right? And the good thing about it is, what I love about Oscar, one little tiny final point is like, he got to the point where he's super well networked, and everybody's like, I'm gonna go start a business or whatever. He starts getting pulled in a whole bunch of different directions, and it's people that aren't really serious and don't follow through, things like that. And he got himself spread thin for a while, and he had us. We were his main core, and he had 2 or 3 other businesses that are his main core customers. And he came to us, and I thought it was really heartfelt. He's like, look, I got spread thin for a while. I kind of got spread thin for a while, and so I'm coming back. I'm refocusing and everything else, and I've decided I'm only going to really work with people who are legitimately serious about what they're doing. So I thought it was big. I thought it was a huge character thing for him to come forward and say that, and just say, hey, you know what, I got to give you more so we can all go to the next level. That's huge. When you have somebody that is working for you, he's working with us, but he's working with Renegade Soccer Training, and he comes to us and says, you know what, we need to work harder so you can get better. Okay, I haven't been doing enough, and trust me, those numbers, he's doing enough, right? I haven't been doing enough. I need to do more to take you to the next level. I mean, you can't pay for that. You literally can't pay for that. Okay, and that's the character piece. It's not only the big brain on Oscar. I always say, his head's 2 sizes too big, like the Grinch, because he's got so many brains, stuff like that. It's not that. It's not the persistence. It's not the leadership skills and stuff like that. It's a character to come forward and say, hey, you know what? I'm at this level, which is above everyone else. I don't know anyone else that could have given us these kind of results. I'm at this level, but guess what? We got to notch it up another level. I've got to notch it up another level. Man, for me, that's everything. So I hope you listen to it. You know, as usual, I made a little, 3-minute testimonial for Oscar into, some kind of a 15-minute thing. But if it helps you, if you're on that fence, I really hope it helps you out. Okay? Because I know if you pull the trigger and you start working with Oscar, he's going to make you better. He's going to make your business better. And he's going to help you make your customers better. And that's kind of where it's all at. For me, that's where all the fulfillment is. The 15,000 kids that are getting better because of Renegade Soccer training each and every month. It's unbelievable. So thanks, Oscar. Literally thanks for everything, right? I mean, we're a business now, and we're going to dominate this year. So I hope this helped you guys. Take care.